Happy Monday, and we are going to do some Pythagorean theorem application problems. Upcoming on Friday is a test, Thursday is the review. We're going to do Pythagorean throughout this week, get really good at it, and then take a test on Friday. So I'm going to start with this. I uploaded this as a PDF in your stuff. You can follow along. So a fact, anytime you see these keys, it means, hey, you should pay attention to this. So rectangles and squares have right angles, and when you draw a diagonal of a rectangle or a square, you make right triangles. That's just something doesn't dawn on a lot of people, but that's a true fact, and so that will help you. So these types of problems are find the distance between the 2 points. These are on a coordinate plane. What you're going to do is you're going to drop a vertical line and drop a horizontal line. And now you have a right triangle. The distance from 3 to 7 is 4. The distance from 2 to 8 is 6. So this is 4 and this is 6. You can count them, or you can do the x-coordinate subtractions and the y-coordinate subtractions. Now, those give you the legs of your right triangle. So now you're going to do, since I'm missing my hypotenuse, I'm going to be adding 4 squared plus 6 squared, and that's 16 plus 36, which is the square root of 52, and that's not a perfect square, and so the square root of 52 is 7.2. It's a long, but I'm asking you to just truncate it to the 10th. Okay, again, this is no. We're going to scratch this one out just for a while because this doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, I scratched it out. Here, let me draw it again. Shouldn't have drawn it again. You have a line, you have a 0.16, you have a 0.32. You're going to drop a vertical line, drop a horizontal line. The getting from 1 on your x's to 3 on your x's is 2. Getting from 6 on your y's to 2 on your y's is 4. I'm missing my hypotenuse. That's 2 squared plus 4 squared. That's 4 plus 16, which is the square root of 20. And the square root of 20 is 4.4. Now, when we get into reading problems, the only thing that you're going to have to pay attention to is they might ask for another step. So Joe wants to hang lights on his ceiling in the shape of an X. The ceiling is 30 meters. So 30 meters by 40 meters. It's a rectangle in the shape of an X. Or should say it's a rectangle, so there's the right angle, and then because it is a 3, 4, 5, this is 50. 50 only does here, and you need another string of lights here, which this is 30 and this is 40, which is another right triangle, so your lights are 100. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this one because it's a little faint on my paper. So this says line segment D is the diagonal in each polygon shown below. Which drawing shows enough information to find the length of D? So the diagonal and hypotenuse are synonyms. Here's my hypotenuse. There is no, you have a 6 and a 7, but there's missing a right angle, so it can't be F. here is the triangle that they're talking about. The right angle is not where the line segments meet, so that is not, it's in the middle of a triangle. In H, this looks like a rectangle, and I have a here, because that's 6, this would be 6, that's 8, that would be 8, and there's your right angle, so it's H. Here, there's no right angle signified in that thing, so that's H. Okay, I played around with some names. We just were doing some Disney names. Daisy Duke has a flower garden in the shape of a rectangle, so the rectangle, we mean, I know it does that. That is 9 feet wide and 12 feet long. She has a brick wall running diagonally through the garden. How long is the brick wall? So I'm going to look at this and I'm like, this is 3 times 3. This is 3 times 4. So this has to be 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. That's when you use your triples. If you don't know and don't recognize your triples, it is the square root of 9 squared plus 12 squared. And you calculate it from there. You'll still get 225, square root of 225, which is 15. Then we do word problems without pictures, and so we're going to have to build a picture. So Minnie Mouse is building a fence around her rectangular flower garden, which is, and then so we can do rectangle, and which is 6 feet by 8 feet. There's my garden. Her fence will go all the way around the garden and down the diagonal. So I start here and I build and build and build and build and I build. So if you see this is 3 times 2, 4 times 2, then this is 10 times 2. Oops, 5 times 2. My brain got ahead of me. 5 times 2. Let me see if I can wipe that out and make it a little bit neater. Five times 2. Okay, so my fence is 6 and 8 and 6 and 8 and 10, which is 34 feet. So a lot of people, if it's multiple choice, will stop at finding the 10. Please make sure you're answering the questions in which you're asked. Moving on. Goofy is building a fence around his rectangular flower garden, which is 12 and 15, rectangle. His fence will be the long side, and down the diagonal. That's where his fence is. Notice he's goofy and he's not going to keep anything in, but he does have a fence that's shaped like that. So I am going to see that this is 3 times 4, and this is 3 times 5. That is not a triple, so we're actually going to have to work that out, and that is 12 squared plus 15 squared, and the square root. So that would be 144 plus 225, the square root. And 144 plus 225 is going to go back up here, the square root of 369. And the square root of 369 is 19.2. And so we're going to have 15 and 15 and 19.2 for our entire fence, which is 49.2. So be careful on these when you think your brain says, oh, that's a 3, 4, 5. That 5 has to be along the hypotenuse. Mickey Mouse is building a fence around his rectangular flower garden. It is 5 feet wide and 12 feet long, and he has a rectangle. His fence will be the short side and the diagonal. Kind of a little bit like Goofy, but not so much. How much fencing will he need? This is a triple. It's a 5, 12, 13. So we have 5 and 5 and 13, which is 23 feet. Find X. This part of it doesn't even matter because there is your right triangle and you have enough information. So you're looking for a hypotenuse because it's opposite of the right angle. You go 3 squared plus 6 squared, which is 9 plus 36, the square root of 45. And the square root of 45 is there's a dramatic pause. Dramatic pause of the square root of 45 is 6.7. And 6.7 is a logical answer because I'm finding the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is always the longest side. A 25-foot ladder. Oh, I love ladder problems because ladders have to be, if I'm climbing a ladder, my ladders are always the hypotenuse. It's 7 feet from the bottom of the building. Here's my building over here. And it is a 25-foot ladder. I am how far up the building? Here's my little building. How far up the building is here's my building with lots of windows on it. Make sure I put a door so they can get in. I have my hypotenuse because there's my right angle. 25 squared minus 7 squared. 625 minus 49. Which is $576, and that is 24. This is actually a triple. It's just not a very well-known triple. That concludes your practice problems. You're going to have some word problems. Make sure you are writing them out, working them out. You will have to submit a copy of your shown work. For today's check for understanding, it's going to be a skill builder. Make sure you are doing this. This is classify y. If y is 3, classify 3. Sorry, can't read sometimes. Classify 3, and that actually means where does 3 fall in the number system? Have a nice Monday.